Today, I've got some hot news that's going to get your heart racing and ready for the season ahead. If you're the type who follows every detail of our team, you're going to want to stick around until the end of this video because there's a lot of good stuff coming your way. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel and smash that like button because only here will you find the best and most exclusive updates on our Washington Commanders. Don't forget, our next news drop is an in-depth and exclusive analysis, and trust me, it's really interesting. So folks, the Washington Commanders have just wrapped up their final moments at training camp. It was a significant milestone as the team gears up for the preseason opener against the New York Jets. The session was intense, full of energy, and entirely focused on preparing the team for the new season. The atmosphere was electric. You could feel the urgency in the players' movements and the coaches' strategies. It looks like we're finally seeing a team that knows where it wants to go. Speaking of changes, one of the most notable ones was the release of tight end Armani Rogers. Many of us had high hopes for him, especially after a promising start last season. Rogers had everything it took to shine in 2023, but injuries got in the way, and with new talents like Zach Ertz, Ben Sinnott, and Colson Yankoff joining the team, he ended up being left out of the plans. It was a tough decision, but general manager Adam Peters emphasized the need to be ruthless in building a competitive NFL roster. There's no room for playing around at this level, and Peters made it clear that the focus is entirely on what will deliver results on the field. And speaking of delivering results, we can't not talk about Jayden Daniels, our number 2 pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. Guys, what a player. Daniels has been showing why he was picked so high, with performances that are catching everyone's attention during training camp. With every pass, every play, he's not only showing his talent, but also a work ethic and leadership that are rare to see in a rookie. Not to mention how much he's already earned the respect of his teammates and coaching staff. Coach Dan Quinn himself didn't hold back on the praise. I had high expectations for him, but I'd say he's definitely exceeded even my expectations for readiness. I knew he'd be cool, understanding the system. He just has that about him. But still, you see the other players gravitate towards him. They recognize how hard he's worked at this. Guys, if the coach is saying this, it's because this guy is really something special. Quinn also highlighted how the quarterback room has been remarkable with Daniels' presence. This is the kind of thing that makes us confident about what lies ahead. And it's not just talk. Daniels' exceptional play during training camp has been so good that he's already secured the starting position for the preseason opener against the New York Jets. This competition is going to be a real test to see if Daniels can handle the pressure, but so far, he's only exceeded expectations. What do you guys think? Is he ready to carry this team on his shoulders? Confidence is growing, and hopes are high that he can make a positive impact this season. As the team prepares for the 2024 season, the focus is on refining the offense and making sure the key players are ready for Week 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. With a positive atmosphere at training camp and the emergence of talents like Daniels, the future looks bright for the Commanders. And that, of course, makes us excited and hopeful for what's to come. What do you think? Is this the year we'll finally see the Commanders turn things around? Now, speaking as a die-hard fan, it's impossible not to get excited about what we're seeing. The energy in the team is different, and it feels like we finally have a roster that can take us far. Sure, there's still a lot of work to be done, but if we keep up this pace, 2024 could be the year we make some noise in the league. And who wouldn't want to see that happen, right? Now, let's move on to another piece of news that's on fire and that you can't miss. Have you ever watched a Commanders game and thought, this guy should be on the field right now? Well, today's story is exactly about that. We're going to talk about Emmanuel Forbes, the young cornerback who's making waves, and how the depth chart released by the Washington Commanders is causing a stir. So, get comfortable because this story is just getting started, and I guarantee you're going to want to know all the details until the end. Let's get straight to the point. The Washington Commanders released their first depth chart for the 2024 season, and guess what? Our second-year cornerback, Emmanuel Forbes, didn't show up as a starter. That's right, folks, the internet went wild. Some fans were saying Forbes isn't fit for the team and that they should cut him already. But before we jump to conclusions, let's understand what's really going on. After all, one thing's for sure, not everything is what it seems on this depth chart. Now check this out. Despite Forbes not being listed as a starter on the chart, Coach Dan Quinn already made it clear that this list is not official and that a lot could change. It's that famous hold on fans. Throughout camp, Forbes worked hard with the first team, alongside Michael Davis and Benjamin Saint-Juste, and more. Reports coming out of training camp clearly say he's been standing out. So why all the controversy? It seems like people are ready to react before even understanding the full context. And there's more. This offseason, the guy gained 17 pounds of muscle, which has impressed the coaches. In a sport where physicality is so important, adding muscle mass can make all the difference. And Forbes is showing he's serious about this evolution. He's done everything that's been asked of him so far, and the coaches couldn't be more pleased with his development. You know that feeling when a player is ready to explode on the field? That's the vibe Forbes is giving off, and as a fan, I'm believing he's going to surprise us. And speaking of coaches, Witt, who knows the ins and outs, made some statements that made me believe even more in Forbes' potential. He highlighted how Emmanuel has been working off the field, especially with regards to his weight, and that he's happy with the way the player has gotten back into shape and stayed available for training. This kind of comment isn't made for nothing, folks. When a coach gives this kind of praise, it's because the guy is really showing up. Of course, not everything is perfect, and Witt made it clear there are still things Forbes needs to improve, but he chose to keep the details of these improvements in-house, without exposing the player unnecessarily. This kind of approach makes me respect even more the work being done with Forbes. They know what he needs to work on, and they're doing it away from the spotlight. This is the kind of environment that allows a player to grow and prepare for the challenges ahead. And here's the big point. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the coaches, teammates, or even us fans think right now. What really counts is how Forbes will perform when the games start for real. And this week, he has a golden opportunity to show his stuff when Washington faces the New York Jets in a joint practice. These moments are crucial for a young player like Forbes, who's looking to prove he deserves a spot in the spotlight. So folks, I know this depth chart talk can make a lot of people nervous, but trust me, it doesn't mean much at this point. It's just the beginning of the season, and there's still a lot to unfold. What matters is how Forbes and all the other players will do when the official games start. And as a true fan, I can't wait to see what this guy does on the field. Now tell me, do you think Emmanuel Forbes will silence the critics and establish himself as a starter? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates on our Washington Commanders. Let's move on to our latest news today. So grab your popcorn and get comfy, because now we're going to talk about some fresh news that's shaking up the team's locker room. I know you, like me, are always on the lookout for good news, and trust me, this one is promising. Let's dive into this update and understand how one of our rookies is shining in training camp, and could even become an essential pillar of our offensive line this season. So stick with me until the end, because this story deserves your attention. Today's news is about a name that promises to make some noise. Brandon Coleman, the offensive tackle who came in with a lot of hype from the third round of the draft. And if you think it's too early to get your hopes up, check this out. He's already been listed as a starter on the team's first depth chart. That's right, my friend. In such a short time, this kid has shown that he's not here to mess around. But how did he get here? What did Coach Dan Quinn see that was so special in him? That's exactly what we're going to break down now. The first point to highlight is Coleman's solid performance during training camp. Since he set foot on the field, he's shown a dedication and adaptability that are rare to see in such young players. Quinn, who's not shy about giving constructive criticism, was full of praise when talking about our rookie. "He's really had a good camp," said the coach, making it clear that Coleman has something special. And it wasn't just talk. The kid was tested in various ways, and in every situation he rose to the occasion. For those who follow the Commanders, you know this is a huge relief since the offensive line is an area that needs consistent reinforcement, but it doesn't stop there. Besides holding down the left tackle spot, Coleman was also moved to the right side during a practice when Wiley got injured. And guess what? He just stepped in and played with the same competence. In 20-25 snaps, he showed that versatility is one of his strong points. This is music to our ears, because a player who can perform well in different positions is a real asset for any team. And let's be honest, folks, having a solid offensive line is half the battle for any successful offense. What excites me the most is that Coleman isn't alone on this journey. Jayden Daniels, our rookie quarterback, is also shining, and it seems like the two are creating a perfect connection. This connection between the quarterback and his offensive line is essential, especially when both are rookies. When Quinn mentioned that both Coleman and Daniels earned the right to start in the first preseason game, it lit a spark of hope for all of us. It's the kind of news that makes us dream of a more competitive season and maybe even surprise the league. Now, if you're wondering what to expect from Coleman's debut in the preseason, stay tuned. This coming Saturday, the Commanders will face the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium, and all signs point to Coleman being out there, holding down the fort on the offensive line. This will be a real test, both for him and for the entire team. But if he keeps playing the way he has in practice, we can expect a solid performance that will only boost the team's and the fans' confidence. And of course, we're going to be watching every detail. Let's be serious. The future of the Commanders is starting to take shape and, honestly, I couldn't be more excited. Seeing young players like Coleman and Daniels take on such big responsibilities right off the bat is a clear sign that we're on the right path. And if there's one thing we know, it's that building a competitive team takes time, but when the right pieces are in place, the result can be spectacular. I really want to know what you guys think about all of this. Do you think Coleman will keep up this momentum throughout the entire season? And before I forget, if you enjoyed this chat and want to stay up to date with everything going on with the Commanders, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Let's cheer, comment, and celebrate every play together. And don't forget to drop your comments below. I want to know what you expect from this new phase of the team, especially with these rookies taking on such important roles. Who knows? Maybe we'll even make some bets. I, for one, am betting that Coleman will be one of the surprises of the season. And you? What do you think? To wrap things up, I've got a question for you. Is the rise of rookies like Brandon Coleman and Jaden Daniels the beginning of a new era for the Washington Commanders? Leave your thoughts in the comments and let's cheer together for this season to be full of great surprises.